We have a ton to talk about in today's show, and we're going to try to get it all in as quick as possible for you guys so it's not some long video. We're going to get into the latest Lions injuries. Things are looking pretty good. Super excited to talk about that. NFL power rankings. Lions did fall a bit, but not as bad as you would think. We're definitely getting to the trade deadline. There's 4 players from Sideline Report saying that the Lions could look to target. They're saying that the Lions could be buyers for sure. We're going to talk about that and one player I would like to get and the Detroit Lions' remaining schedule because it's looking good. Without further ado, let's get this thing started. We're now going on 2 weeks straight of the fastest growing channel here on Chat Sports. That's Lions Talk. So let's continue the trend here. Subscribe to the channel. Right now we're at 45,726 subscribers. Let's go ahead and get to 45,800. It will help out to continue to be the channel on the rise. Let's get into these power rankings first really quick. And right now, as you suspect, the Detroit Lions fell on some of these power rankings. But interestingly enough, Sports Illustrated didn't make a change. They had 7 last week, 7 this week. As you can see, media are not taking too much of a big fall for the Lions taking that thumping that we did in Baltimore. They're not worried. Sports News, they fell 2 spots. Again, not a big drop. Pro Football Network, 3rd to 8th. That's quite a bit drop right there, but still top 10. ESPN, 5th to 9th, 4 spots dropped. CBS Sports, 3rd to 8th, just like Pro Football Network. Yahoo went from 2nd to 6th. USA, 2nd to 6th. And Athletic, 3rd to 6th. So, folks, the mainstream media, who has been relentless against the Detroit Lions in years past, not really this year, still like the Detroit Lions. Even though we got thumped in Baltimore, they're not that worried. And that's why I've been saying on my channel, it's not that the walls are caving in, the world's ending for the Detroit Lions. Sometimes it happens. And even the media is kind of agreeing there. But let me know in the comment section right now, where do you rank the Detroit Lions power rankings? Where do you have them? 1, if you think they're the best team in the NFL. 32, if you think they're the worst, if you're a same old Lions fan. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think for the Detroit Lions in the power rankings. Me, I have them top 10. Let's continue on here and talk about some injuries. And we've been dealing with injuries for the Detroit Lions all year long, but things are starting to get a little bit better. Jonah Jackson's still dealing with the ankle. We'll find out maybe today if he practices today. I'm still thinking, I'm leaning that he'll come back after the bye week. The Lions got the Raiders. The Lions are heavy favorites to win this game and demolish the Raiders. So I think they potentially could rest him. James Mitchell still dealing with a hamstring. And David Montgomery dealing with the ribs. Like Jonah Jackson, I do believe that he's going to probably come back after the bye week. Just rest him up. We got Jahmyr Gibbs who can come in here, and he's done pretty good for the Detroit Lions. And we're going to get into his stats in a minute to confirm that he's done pretty good. And Craig Reynolds. Devin Ozigbo up in there as well. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs and Craig Reynolds can hold the fort down versus the Raiders. If you look at Jahmyr Gibbs after Sunday, he's got 50 rushing for 247 yards, his average of 4.9 and 1 touchdown. That's pretty damn good, if you ask me. It really is. So rest up David Montgomery. We got Gibbs to hold the fort down on Monday Night Football so the Lions can win this game and then rest the players that need resting. I have been having a lot of fun with Prize Picks, and this video is sponsored by Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. They will match your deposit match up to $100. And if you want to spice up your NFL Sunday like I have been doing, get started with Prize Picks right now. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money, daily fantasy sports game. And if you're looking to have more fun on game day like I have, look no further than Prize Picks. How's it work, you ask? We're here. How's it works? Pick up to 2 to 6 players, and if they go more or less than the Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times more your money on any given entry. On Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks who study this stuff 24/7. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right away with Prize Picks. And here's my 3 players for this weekend. I got Bryce Young getting more than 210.5 yards passing. I have C.J. Stroud getting more than 239.5 passing yards, and Josh Allen 263.5. So get started right away with Prize Picks. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100. Why is it CLNS? Because that's our ad agency partner here at Chat Sports. So use code CLNS. It's real easy. 4 letters to get $100 match when you sign up today. So download the app and get the link that will be in the description and comment section of this video. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS. As you know, the trade deadline is 1 week away from today, 4 p.m., and a lot of videos, content creators, and media is going to be talking about it. Why? Because it's extremely relevant. Lions talking about over there from the sideline report of who they are hearing for the Lions trade. I got a question for you. Should the Detroit Lions make a trade? It's simple. T for trade, P for pass. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like I was saying before, Sideline Report came out with an article today having 4 players they believe they're hearing that the Lions are connected to in a trade. Now, one of these players to me came out of the blue. 2 of the players would be a gigantic trade, and one kind of makes sense. So we're going to go in the makes sense one first here, and that's Donte Jackson, cornerback from the Carolina Panthers. They're saying from Sideline Report that he potentially could be a target for the Detroit Lions, and the Lions are going to be buyers. What has he done so far this year? Not a lot. He hasn't been used as much. 0 pass defense, 15 combined tackles, 14 solos, 0 interceptions. Why would this be a move for the Detroit Lions? Well, it's pretty simple. Obviously, the injuries that the Lions have, right? We've seen Emmanuel Mosley get injured. Jerry Jacobs has had some banged up. And do you really want, same with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, do you really want to focus on Will Harris to potentially be your backup? I mean, we see what happened right there, and it was not good at all. Be a late round draft pick. It's not going to be anything big to get someone like that. And again, if you look at the depth here, we're cool Cam Sutton, Jerry Jacobs, but it gets a little iffy at that spot. You're talking about Will Harris, who's not done good. Chase Lucas, minimal amount. Khalil Dorsey, Stephen Gilmore, who I do like, but he's also a player kind of still learning on the job. And when you're a team like the Detroit Lions, you're trying to host and win a playoff game. Do you want to trust on a developmental player? So that's an interesting one for sure. Now, I think that's probably the most realistic possibility, but keep going with players that they had here. The second player on their list, I never even heard this, is Marquise Brown, the wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. Does it mean that it's not a possibility? No, but I've heard 0 connection besides this article to the Detroit Lions. You look at his stats so far this year, it's 32 receptions for 383 yards, 12, and 3 touchdowns. Now look, maybe this came up because of the weird coincidence, timing, that Marvin Jones Jr. had personal reasons, didn't go to the Baltimore game, and he didn't play. And a guy who's very solid, a veteran, it kind of makes you wonder, well, maybe the Detroit Lions are looking for a wide receiver. And it'd also be with Jamison Williams, who's having issues catching the football. I don't believe the Lions are trading for Marquise Brown. I'm just going to keep it. My personal belief is I just don't think that this is a real possibility. Right now, I don't. I think this is a little bit out there, but you never know. You never know. Let's continue on with another player connected to the Detroit Lions from the Sideline article here, and that's Brian Burns. Now, this would be a major trade for the Detroit Lions because, look, last year I think they're looking for 2 first-round picks to get him. If they were to trade him because he's a really good player, really good edge rusher. I know a lot of Lions fans want to get Brian Burns, and I know why, because he's got 7 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback combined of 20 and 4 sacks. He's a game wrecker at the age of 25 years old. And if you look at the Lions' edge room, you have Aiden Hutchinson, we all love. But no one else is stepping up. Charles Harris was a scratch last week. Joshua Pascal is not Aiden Hutchinson. John Kaminsky is good in the interior, but he's not a staple. James Houston's good, but he's injured, and he's been used as a player on specific downs. Romeo Okwara and Julian Okwara haven't really done anything to be a staple for an edge. If you get a Brian Burns, you're looking pretty damn pretty having Brian Burns and Aiden Hutchinson as your two edges, and it would make this defense a lot better. But it's going to cost a lot to get a Brian Burns, first-round pick at least. I don't think the Lions are going to trade for Brian Burns because of the cost. I don't believe so. Would I like it? Absolutely. But personally, I do not believe so. The last player that they had on their list for the Detroit Lions trading for was Patrick Surtain, cornerback from the Denver Broncos. He is magnificent cornerback. He's one of the best in the NFL. He's young, still on his rookie deal. Look at what he's done this year. 7 pass defense, 28 combined, 25 solo, and 1 interceptions. He's a stud. He's an absolute stud. And we just shown that of the cornerback depth for the Lions just a couple minutes ago. It's booty cheeks. Booty cheeks. Do I think the Lions trade? No, I don't. I don't. It's going to cost way too much. And I don't even, Denver Broncos, I don't even think is going to trade him. I do not believe the Lions trade for Surtain. I would love it. Don't get me wrong. I would love the trade, but I don't believe they're going to do it. I do not believe so. I think that's out of the realm of possibility, but it would be a blockbuster trade for sure. Now, a player that has been put on the trade market, and it came out of an article out of Bleacher Report yesterday, is a player who I would like to trade for. So this is not part of the sideline. This is the Mike one, and that is Chase Young. I'd love to get Chase Young on this football team. It's reported that Montez Sweat and Chase Young are on the trade block. They only got one way. They only believe they're probably going to get one player signed, and you can't get two, right? Because that's just what they're going on here. You look at what he's done this year, and he's been magnificent, man. 6 tackles for loss, 9 quarterback hits, 14 combined tackles, and 5 sacks. He's really had a good year this year, folks. And if you put Aiden Hutchinson and Chase Young together, that would be a dynamic duo. The likes we would love to see. He would be magnificent. I don't know if the Lions are going to trade for Chase Young. Probably not, but that's my wish list player. And I went on Twitter yesterday, and I told Lions, I said, look, get him. Get Chase Young. I want to see edge presence for this football team. We need it, and he would be really good to help out our Detroit Lions. He would be. So a question for you. Should the Detroit Lions make a trade? T for trade, P for pass. Name a player you want to trade for in the comments below. Let's get into the Lions' schedule here and why the Lions fans shouldn't be worried about the loss to the Baltimore Ravens. Lions are going to be favored in every game, I think, besides 2. They're going to be favored in the Raiders game, who's 3-4. The Lions, I do believe, win this game. Then we have our bye week. We got the Chargers. I don't think the Lions are going to be favored, even though the Chargers aren't that great. It is a road game, and they do got a good offense. So, absolutely, the Lions will have a chance to win that game. I'm not a fan of the Chargers' defense. They haven't been doing a lot. But, the Lions could win there. Home at the Bears. The Lions are going to be favored that game. Absolutely going to be favored in that game. Home against the Packers on Thanksgiving. Lions going to be favored in that game. Saints. It's at the Saints. The Lions will probably be favored in that game. So if you just go on the favored alone, say the favored is how the Lions win. That's 4 wins right there, right? So you're at 9 wins just off the favored. And I'm not saying they're going to win all these games or lose these games. I'm just going off favorites. And if you continue with the Lions schedule here, guess what? They're going to be favored at the Chicago Bears. They're going to be favored at the Denver Broncos. They'll be favored at home with the Vikings. Now, maybe they're not going to be favored potentially at Vikings, and I don't believe they're going to be favored at the Cowboys. But right there, you're looking at, I think the Lions can get 12 wins. I had them starting the season 11 wins. I think 12's a possibility. Hell, 13's a possibility. And guess what, folks? The 49ers lost last night. So guess what? We're tied for the number 2 seed. And like we've been saying, good teams will lose, bad teams will win. It happens in the National Football League. We've seen it. The Bills lost. The 49ers lost. It just happens. So the NFL is, the parity is much better here in the NFL than it is in college, and that's what happens for the NFL. Folks, we're dropping videos every single day. Make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Trying to get to 45,800. With your help, it can happen today. We'll be live for that Monday night game, Lions and Raiders, trying to get to 6 wins in the bye week. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. With that said, folks, adios.